Hey, this one is the Madeleine um, poem. I think it's kind of perfect that I don't look my best for these poems because they are the most emotional and just record a really devastating time in my life. So this one's the Madeleine poem. There's a cathedral in Salt Lake, the Cathedral of Madeleine, and she's the patron saint of education. And I lived right next door to it and heard the bells every day um, during a really horrible time in my life when I was getting my graduate degree in education. So, um, this is supposed to be inspired by the really famous poet Federico Garcia Lorca. He's over here. He was a Spanish-speaking poet, and this is very similar to his 3 in the afternoon poem. Done. There it is. There is the time. Madeline. My skull is full of lead at 5 in the afternoon. A pot of coffee already prepared at 5 in the afternoon. The rest is death, and death alone at 5 in the afternoon. The wind creaked the cottonwood at 5 in the afternoon. The sunshine scattered your carbon at 5 in the afternoon. And the lamb and the lion lie at 5 in the afternoon. And the knuckle of a moon at 5 in the afternoon. Arsenic bells and smoke at 5 in the afternoon. And whiskey tastes like hope at 5 in the afternoon. When the sweat of snow was coming at 5 in the afternoon. All the children were learning at 5 in the afternoon. Death laid eggs in our wound at 5 in the afternoon. It is 5 o'clock in the afternoon. A stretcher on wheels is his bed at 5 in the afternoon. Bones or bullets resound in his ears at 5 in the afternoon. Now the bullet or the rope stole color from his forehead at 5 in the afternoon. The room was iridescent with agony at 5 in the afternoon. The gangrenous future now comes at 5 in the afternoon. Groin and loin now a lily at 5 in the afternoon. I said his wounds were always burning like suns at 5 in the afternoon. At 5 in the afternoon. Ah, our fateful 5 in the afternoon. It was 5 by the bells and the clocks. It was 5 in the shade of this afternoon.